The R.T.M. annual budget meeting will resume tonight. It is Monday, May 15th. It is 7:02 p.m. And Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Thank you, Madam Moderator.
I did get notice from Representative Amboise, Representative Caden, and Representative Dean Shinbrot that they would not be in attendance tonight. Cadden, sorry. Thank you.
Okay, Representative Adams.
Here.
Amboise. Bailey. Here. Burrell. Here. Brennan. Present. Bright.
Here.
Casper. Surf. Chase.
Here.
Kopp.
Here.
Crockett Hubbard. Dean Shinbrot. Eben. Frickman. Fritchie. Gardner.
Here.
Gothier.
Here.
Gibbs.
Here.
Gustafson. Hainline. Hanscom.
Here.
Ivy. Cadden. Massett.
Here.
McElroy.
Here.
Merritt.
Here.
Norman. Aubrey. Perry. Powers K.
Here.
Powers S.
Here.
Pacino.
Here.
Scott. Cimarero.
Here.
Oh, Scott said he couldn't come either. Thomas. B.C. Williams.
Here.
Watson.
Here.
Weaver. Wells.
Here.
Whitney.
Here.
And Rusk. You have 25.
Did you get Representative Thomas? He is here.
Nope. Representative Thomas, you're here. Well, he could.
Representative Thomas?
Nope. Sometimes they go on and then it fuzzes off. So he might be trying to
Okay.
get back on. So once he
Okay.
lets
Thank you.
us know.
Okay, so the first item on our agenda tonight is 1051 Human Services on page 133. Madam Chair.
Account 1051 Human Services. This account was spoken to by Mr. Burt and Ms. Marge Fondulis, the Director of Human Services. The overall decrease for this budget looks like about 7% or $43,000 was due to a elimination of a position that was no longer needed. Representative Kopp asked questions about what the position was supposed to do. Ms. Fondulis indicated that those services were being absorbed by an administrative position that was already in-house and that there was no longer a need for another position. The account moved for $546,943 by Representative Kopp and seconded by Representative Semeraro. Unanimous 5 to 0. I move the number of $546,943.
All right, the motion was made by the chair, seconded by Representative Bright, in the amount of $546,943. Director Fondulis is here. If anyone has any questions or would like any more information.
Representative Massett.
Oh, I'm sorry, thank you. Representative Mathis.
Well, he's not acknowledging us.
This is for Director Fondulis. The Spicer Fund, that has gone away. And has another fund taken over for that? Or?
Yes, the Perkins Fund, and we're going to be discussing that in the next piece of this budget. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so you don't see any need to maybe start to fund that again?
Not in this,
The Spicer Fund?
it's not in this budget.
That's part of the CIP that's coming up next, or the item that's coming up next.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Aubrey.
I think we have a total of 7 now on staff.
We gotta acknowledge him.
Probably not the appropriate time, but have you compiled a list of where people can go when they're looking for
Okay.
assistant,
Okay, he's in.
low-income housing?
Yes, we have a list that we provide to people.
Okay, thank you very much. That's very important. That's all.
Representative Casper?
Casper?
Just checking in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Thomas.
Okay, are there any other questions?
I'm checking in too.
Who's this?
Representative Cerf?
Gotcha, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are voting on $546,943 for item 1051. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Representative Aubry?
I'm sorry, I thought my hand was up.
Okay, thank you. If everybody could put their hands down.
We have 28 present.
Anyone voting no? Representative Chase, Representative Gardner? Anyone abstaining? We have 28. So that passes 26 to 2 to 0. Next on our agenda tonight is item 7320, Human Services Assistant Fund, found on page 138.
Account 7320, the Human Services Assistance Fund, otherwise known as the Flora Perkins Trust. The amount was motioned for $10,000 by Representative Cadden and seconded by Representative Kopp. Director Fundulis discussed this account item, and Mr. Burt indicated that once the bequeathed funds were expended, the town would find a way to establish or pay for the expenses from another fund, as the services provided by the fund are still desperately needed. The primary use of this fund is to help Groton families with rental assistance, particularly focusing on families with young children. Chair Gauthier asked what the funds were being used for, and asked if this included any of the displaced Branford Manor residents. Ms. Fondulis said some. This account moved for $10,000, 5 to 0 to 0. I move the amount of $10,000.
Watson, second.
Okay. The amount of $10,000 was moved by the chair, seconded by Representative Watson. Any questions? Would you
Yes.
like? Representative Cerf. Representative
Even though
Cerf.
I wasn't in the meeting, is the amount that is being used for, is that on page 148?
It's on page 139.
Oh, all right, then I probably don't have a question. I'll lower my hand.
Any other questions?
My hand's up somewhere.
Sorry, Representative Aubry.
We're back at the same place.
Sorry.
Do you really think that's an amount that would cover what you might anticipate for this upcoming winter?
You're referring to the 10,000 that we have in this particular account.
Yes.
That is being used primarily as assistance for rental for families with young children. And we have exhausted the amount. Every year, we usually exhaust it well before the end of the fiscal year. But that is the nature of that account, that it only has, I think at the present time, the balance in that account that we could draw on would be, I think, around 17,000 at this point, if it's even that much. And we allocate from that amount, the 10,000, on an annual basis. So after next year, we probably won't have another year, or maybe a part of a year after that. But the fund balance is going to be diminished significantly.
I'd like to put another number on the floor.
What number would you like?
Well, I'm not sure what the manager's number was, but I'd like to put 25,000 on.
So the manager's number was 10,000, so we are not allowed to go above that $10,000 threshold.
John, you're killing me.
And just to make it clear, that was her request. We've done that for years with that amount.
I'm sorry, I'd like to see it be more. I think you're gonna need it. We've got so many foreclosures coming and it's,
Yeah, but
sorry.
I have a question.
Hold on, I
We're
will
taking
call on
out
you.
of that.
Representative Cerf, you don't have the floor right now. One moment,
Wait.
please. You don't
Well,
have
just
the
point
floor
of
right now.
information.
You don't
Point
have
of
the floor right
information to
now.
help out with what Representative Obrey is trying to do.
I need you, hold on, thank you. Town Clerk, you were next with your hand up.
Thank you. I'm just curious, I know that every month we see in the town council's agenda under their consent calendar, they have a huge list of people that have donated, not just to the assistant fund, but other funds. Are you accounting for that? I mean, that's huge, some of them are huge amounts.
The amounts that you see listed are usually donations for either Groton Utilities Assistance Fund or the Donations Trust Fund. And we use both of those accounts to assist with rents, utilities, fuel assistance, you name it. But those funds are not coming in, of course, to this account,
That
this
particular
particular
fund,
one
okay.
that we're discussing.
Representative
Jefferson just
Gauthier,
walked
or
in.
Representative Cerf, sorry.
Gustafson just walked in, so we have 29.
Myself?
Yes.
So my question, in an attempt to collaborate with Representative Obrey, is we're not putting money into that fund, we're taking money out of that fund, right? That was presumably established by somebody, by Flora Perkins, but we're running out of money in there. And I was thinking the same thing. We could put money back in from the donations of people that, go directly to the town council. But I think that once a fund is established, it has to remain that fund and it has to be used out of that fund until it runs out. So the only thing we could do is start a new fund. Correct me if I'm wrong, Manager Burt, because when that one runs out, we're not gonna be able to add into that fund.
Correct, that fund will, once it's empty, because there are certain
Yeah,
restrictions on it.
So Representative Obrey had good intentions in trying to put money into it, but unfortunately, I don't think we can do that. So we really need to start another fund for the same purpose and ask people in town, when they're contributing for fuel and things like that, if they wouldn't contribute into that fund, the new fund.
Okay, thank you. Representative Gauthier.
Yes, all I wanted to say was that part of the minutes I just read was about establishing a new fund once this one ran out this year. So that'll be a change for next year.
Are there any other questions? Representative Cerf, can you lower your hand, or do you have another
sorry.
question? Okay.
Lower hand.
Are there any other questions? Seeing none, the number on the floor is $10,000. All in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
29.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? Representative Brennan, are you abstaining or opposed? I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. I don't know what his vote was.
He was for it.
He was,
I was for it.
okay, thank you. All right, that motion passes 29 to 0 to 0. Thank you, Director Fondulis. All right.
Is Director Mealy here? Mealy? I never say your name right, I'm so sorry. So this is account 1063, the Groton Public Library. You'll find it on 142 and 143 in your budget book. The amount of $1,751,538 was motioned by Representative Semeraro and seconded by Representative Kopp. Director Mealy, you're going to have to, Mealy, sweet. discussed the increases in the Groton Public Library budget, attributing the majority of the increases to contractual salary increases for staff, both full-time and part-time, as well as an increase due to inflation on consumables such as the printer, paper, and ink, etc. There was not much discussion aside from members stating our fervent support of the Groton Public Library. They keep their costs low year over year. They do amazing work for the community. There's really nothing to trim here, and I would not recommend that. If we could increase it, I would, but this is quite the asset to our community. This is Representative Gauthier speaking. And so I move the amount of $1,751,538.
Second.
Motion was made by the chair, seconded by Representative Kopp. Any questions? Representative Cerf.
No, I seconded the motion. I'll
Okay.
turn around and put my hand
Sorry, I had
down.
multiple people seconding.
Okay.
Any questions?
I just want to know if Sean has enough.
We'll get to Sean in just a minute, I think.
Okay.
Okay, no other questions? Then the number on the floor is $1,751,538. All those in favor, please say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, if you want to lower your hands. Representative Brennan. I think he's still there. All those opposed? Representative Wells, are you opposing? Nope. All those abstaining? 29?
29?
That motion passes 29 to 0. Next up is item 3310, borrow it CT on page 146.
All right. Account 3310, borrow it CT. The amount of $20,000 was moved by Representative Kopp and seconded by Representative Cadden. Director Mealy discussed the grant that the state of Connecticut provides to municipalities to cover costs related to the borrowing and interlibrary sharing of materials. The amount of the grant is derived by the state using a set formula. While there is no guarantee of the grant being dispersed by the state, when it is the money allocated can be reassigned to other needs that typically would show up in a CIP, such as technology. These funds cannot be reassigned to the general fund. So just to elaborate on that a little bit more, the state gives out a grant for $20,000. When they do, it reimburses this fund, and these funds that we allocated to the library's technology kind of program goes and pays for that, so it doesn't show up in a CIP. If the state does not provide that grant, we're covered to cover the cost of the interlibrary loan program. The committee moved unanimously 6-0. I put on the floor $20,000.
Thank you. The motion, or the number of $20,000 was made by the chair, seconded by Representative Adams. Any questions? Yes, Representative Sean Powers.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Just the interest in our book, the $20, is that part of the budget? I mean, is that, when do you collect that? We're voting on $20,000, not $20,020. I'm just questioning the number. Thank you.
So basically what happens is we have to estimate what we think we're getting prior to us receiving it. So I base it off of what we got last year. As for the interest, it sits, if the money is not used, it sits in a fund in our finance, and then it just accrues about, as you see here, $20.
That's all I'm going to hear, so that there's no questions about it.
Of course.
Making us a nickel a year.
That's the explanation. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Representative Cerf.
I just have a question, an information. I happened to be in there on Saturday, and I couldn't pull myself out of the library for 2 hours. It's an amazing, wonderful place, and you all do a great job. But my question is, kids today read everything off their phones, and evidently even all their textbooks are on their phones. Do you actually have the generation above the kiddie generation, where I know you have a lot of program, you actually have that sort of middle school to high school generation coming in and using the library?
We absolutely do. In fact, we had to ask some of them to leave the other day because there was so many of them at the library, enjoying just about everything that we had to offer. But they also just came in for a program that we collaborated with the town of Groton Police, a program that we collaborated, and it was really well attended. So they're using the library for just about everything. And yes, they
Well, that's good to hear. Thank you.
They are still reading books.
Well, that's really good news. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or concerns? Thank you. All those in favor of $20,000, please raise your hand.
You sure?
Okay, if you could lower your hands.
Doing the wrong one. Yeah.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstaining? So that motion passes 29-0. Next up, here you go, Representative Surf. This is your one. CIP 7G on page 239.
Page 239.
Oh, man. CIP 7G, the Town Meeting Room AV Presentation Equipment Replacement Upgrade. The committee made a motion for $72,000. And pretty much this fund is going to be improving the technology here in the Groton Senior Center to make these meetings much more accessible. Hopefully we can fix some of these AV issues we've been having. Every year, I mean, it's microphone systems throughout all town buildings. So yeah, anyways, it's technology fund. We come here every year and we do it. Sean's got a plan. I'm sorry, I switched minutes in between, so I'm kind of ad-libbing here. But it did pass out of committee unanimously. We definitely need this, and Sean's done a great job administering to this account, finding grants when he can. So I'll turn it over to him unless there's questions. So did I make a motion? Motion for $72,000?
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I need a second. Second by Representative Cupp. So the motion was made for $72,000, seconded by Representative Cupp. Any questions? Seeing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Or raise your
Aye.
hand if you're online. Okay, if you can put your hands down.
Thomas didn't raise his hand.
Anyone opposed? Representative Gardner? Any abstentions? Representative Thomas, I didn't get a yes, no, or an abstention.
Sorry, I mean,
I just lost all.
yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so that passes 28-0. Or 28, I'm sorry, 28-1 to 0.
Gardner.
For Gardner, yes. All right. Next up
Thank you,
is
Sean. Thanks, Jen.
thank you, Sean. 1083 regional agencies found on page 170.
So online you have legislate health.
Account 1083, the regional agencies. This includes cost center 0, 1, 2, and 3. So that would be CCOG, the Southeastern Connecticut Council of Governments, Sector, the Southeastern Connecticut Enterprise Region, SEAT, the Southeastern Area Transit Authority, and the Southeastern Connecticut Regional Probate Court. The probate court, we are required to pay what they tell us to pay. Let me pull this up. So just kind of to let folks know, in committee, we moved this section as a block and gave members of the committee an opportunity to ask questions about whatever account instead of going in any particular order. We also gave members individuals representing these agencies the opportunity to speak to their organization if they wanted to. So I'll read the discussion now. A motion for $151,520 was made by Representative Kopp, seconded by Representative Cerf. Mr. Burt introduced this account, which includes CCOG, seat, sector, and the judge of probate. He noted that most of these accounts are mandatory and the amounts are set by a different body. Representative Cerf asked the representative from seat, Mr. Carroll, how the organization is seeking to increase services. Mr. Carroll responded that the agency is seeking various grants, but ridership really dictates the number of routes and availability. This amount was moved 5-0 to 0. I motion for $151,520.
Watson, second.
520.
Watson seconded it.
Okay, the motion was made by the chair of $151,520, seconded by Representative Watson. Any questions? Representative Gardner. And we have Karen DeSantis from the VNA here and Steve Mansfield, the director. Oh, I lied. Sorry.
Well, they're here.
I'll
They're
catch
just
up.
not these accounts.
It's not a lie. But
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I'd like to ask Chairman Goth here if you have a breakdown as to dividing up that 151,520 into the 4 different categories. Can you give me those amounts, please?
I may. It's in your budget book on page 171. If you take a look there, it's for the Southeastern Connecticut Council of Governments, $15,963 for sector. It is $17,285 for seat. It is $105,002. And for the judge of probate, it is $13,270. Which one of those accounts is the one that we are not mandated to pay what they tell us to pay, Mr. Burt?
Well, on these ones, it's really just probate. The others are, do you want the service or not? So,
Right.
I mean, there's not really changing them unless you want decreased service.
Right.
Well, really, COG can't be changed, and sector really can't either, and seat, if you want the same route, you can't change it.
Right, so sector, I believe that's where a lot of our transit funds come through.
That's the COG. The
that's the COG.
sector is a close partner with the town. They're in charge of, they're the region's designated private nonprofit economic development organization. They do the CEDS, the Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy, which is a required document. They do small business loans, business advertising. They get a lot of grants flowing through them that we partner with. So they do actually a lot of things. And we do have one of our employees on their board.
And these are based on population of the town?
That's typically how it is, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Representative Aubry.
Yes, I was just wondering, Johnny, excuse me, Mr. Manager, are you a representative at the COG meetings?
Sorry, I didn't hear. Say it again.
He didn't get past the fact that you called him Johnny. Can you ask your question again?
That might be the first time in my life I've been called Johnny.
I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, Johnny. You are our representative at the COG meetings?
Yes, I go to all the COG meetings.
Okay. Do we ever get a little feedback on kind of what's going on up there?
Do we get feedback from COG meetings?
With COG meetings? I don't usually to the R.T.M. If there's something big, I tell the council if we're working on a grant. A lot of it's routine business, but if we're up for a grant, then I flag it. When I get the minutes, if you're interested, I can send you the minutes when I get them.
Well, it would be good to know occasionally, when you put out your report, it's very good, maybe you could just add something to that.
I'll leave myself a note right now.
Okay, and I just wanted to say on sector, Captain White Carver, am I saying that correctly?
White Scarver?
White Scarver, yeah.
Yeah, is just doing an outstanding job getting out to the public and and talking to people so more people know what it's really going on down there. And my only other question, and I apologize for all these questions, but did SEAT come to the R.T.M. for their meeting about this money for them?
Yes, Mr. Carroll was there and spoke to the committee.
Okay. Were there any conversations about changing any of the routes?
Yes, as discussed, that really comes down to ridership and availability of money. If we want to pay more for seat, we could probably increase the routes, but if the ridership isn't there, it doesn't really make sense. It's kind of a chicken and egg thing.
And just to add, he did mention that he's applied for a microtransit grant to help with some shuttles or some transportation into Mystic. Stonington does that with the kind of the mini on-call type van. So he's put in for a grant, but he won't know until the fall. It'd be, I believe, a 2-year pilot paid for through the grant if received.
You know, just for what it's worth, the ridership on those buses has grown tremendously. I don't know if you see them, but especially at night. There's a lot of people that are using it now. It used to be empty when it was going around. So I think it's important that we kind of keep an eye on where the routes really go and is it working for people. I know in the past we were able to get it so it went down to Avery Point more often and made it easier for people. So thank you for your answers and putting up with me. Thank you.
Anytime.
Representative Sir.
Yes, Representative Aubrey and I are totally on the same page tonight. That's sort of scary. I also wanted to know
I'm going to leave the meeting.
I wanted to know why we aren't getting more information. I seem to remember when I was previously on the R.T.M. of the council, we used to get sort of like a newsletter from one of those organizations, either SCOG or Sector. And it was, I always thought it was really interesting because that way we.
Representative Sir, one moment.
Yes.
Your point. Yeah.
What?
You don't have to stand up, Jackie.
What the representative is asking for, if I'm not mistaken, the town manager has already said that he would do that.
That is true. Representative Sir, the town manager said that he would add that to his list of what he
Yes,
sends
but we
out
used to
to
get
us.
the actual newsletter.
Okay.
What happened to that?
So we'll,
There is no, I don't receive any
may not do
newsletters,
one
statements.
anymore.
he doesn't get a newsletter anymore. So it
Well,
can't be
that's
sent
sad.
out. Okay. Are there any other budget questions? Seeing none. All those in favor of $151,520, please raise your hand. Or say aye. Okay, you can lower your hands. Anyone opposed? Oops, sorry, I didn't give time to put hands down. Anyone opposed? Any abstentions? That passes 29-0. Next up is 1084, Health and Service Agencies, found on page 173.
Account 1084, Health and Service Agencies. These are cost centers 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 9A. That would be Ledgelight Health District, VNA School Health, VNA Health Promotion, Groton Ambulance. The service agencies that are broken down further on a different table: Marine Sewage Disposal, Mystic River Ambulance, Mystic Noank Library, Bill Memorial Library. I will see how we do this. So the committee made a motion for $2,400,356. We treated this account much like we did account 1083, where we moved it as a block and gave folks an opportunity to ask ad hoc about the different items, and allowed representatives from those organizations to come and testify to their organizations if they so chose. Madam Moderator, we have various representatives from the agencies. Would we want to invite them up here, or?
Yeah, we have questions. We have Karen DeSantis from VNA. We have Steve Mansfield from Ledgelight Health District. We have Wendy Cunnell here. Are you going to be for the Bill Memorial Library? We have
Mystic River
Mystic-
Ambulance and Groton Ambulance as well.
and Mystic No Ink Library. Yes, Representative Pacino.
Second?
Oh, I haven't moved it. I moved to 2,400,356. Let me read the discussion and then we'll.
If you guys want to make your way up here, you're welcome to.
You know, get you close to a mic, just in case. And while they move forward. While they move forward, I'll read the discussion.
You can grab some chairs.
So, as explained, Chair Gauthier introduced this account, invited representatives from the agencies to join the committee at the table. Consensus was to move the number in one block and ask questions as representatives of the committee had them. Chair Gauthier read into the record questions from Representative Chase and the responses from the VNA, Mystic River Ambulance, and Mystic No Ink Library. Representative Kopp and Representative Cadden reported a communication in support of the Mystic No Ink Library. Chair Gauthier asked what the differences between a school-based health center and the VNA school services were. Karen DeSantis of the VNA responded that the VNA could administer special procedures to students such as tube feedings, of which there were a number of students who needed those special procedure services. Representative Cerf asked the representative from the Mystic No Ink Library what the contribution from Stonington was. Chris Bradley from the Mystic No Ink Library responded that it was about $101,000. Representative Cerf asked why the Mystic River ambulance budget went down, and Mr. Gilman responded that they needed to repave their parking lot and that Mystic River ambulance went up. Mr. Gilman responded they needed to repave their parking lot and that the increase was based on firm quotes for the work as well as updating radios and pagers. This amount moved 5 to 0 to 0. And for folks' benefaction, will read out the amounts for all the different agencies, including the service agencies. So Ledgelight Health is actually one that we cannot change the number to. Mr. Mansfield did speak to his account, just kind of a general overview. The amount is $291,881 for Ledgelight. The VNA school health budget amount is $1,346,573. VNA health promo is $34,874. The Groton ambulance is $300,000. That is about a $41,700 decrease from the last year. The service agencies, which include the New London Homeless Hospitality Center receiving $25,000, SCAD receiving $4,000, Safe Futures receiving $9,600, the ARC of Eastern Connecticut receiving $1,500, Connecticut Legal Services receiving $7,260, the UCFS Behavioral Health Services receiving $4,000, Always Home Inc. receiving $4,750, Sexual Assault Crisis Center of Eastern Connecticut receiving $2,500, Meals on Wheels TVCCA is receiving $32,938. Miss Barbara Crouch spoke about her agency briefly, just in support of it. Children First Groton is receiving $5,000. Thames River Heritage Park is receiving $12,500. Southeastern Connecticut Cultural Coalition is receiving $1,000, and the Eastern Connecticut Conservation District is receiving $2,000 from this line item, which in total is $112,048. The Marine Sewage Disposal account is receiving $19,980. Mystic River Ambulance is receiving $75,000. Mystic No Ink Library is receiving $160,000, and the Bill Memorial Library is receiving $60,000. We have the representatives behind us. I would encourage people to ask questions about the budgets if they have them. We all love these agencies. They do important work for our community, and I think we're all the better for supporting them.
Okay. Before we start, I'm going to disclose that I'm on the board at the Bill Memorial Library, and that with work, I work with the New London Homeless Hospitality Center, SCAD, Safe Futures, and UCFS, all with their food pantries. I do not get any money from them. I do not give them actually any money. I give them food. Yes. Representative Massett.
I would also like to disclose that I am on the board of Bill Memorial.
Representative McElroy. Let's get us all.
I am also on the board of the Bill Memorial Library.
And Representative Cupp.
I am on the board of the Thames River Heritage Park with
Okay.
no compensation.
Representative Obrey, do you have something to disclose before we get started? Representative Obrey? We lost her.
I'm
There we go.
waiting to ask a question.
Okay, then you are up.
She also serves on the
Oh,
board.
okay.
of Always Home.
I was wondering if somebody could give me the reason for lowering the Groton ambulance budget.
You have Chuck Kinnicky here.
Hi, Johnny.
I don't know what your title is there,
Motion to
so
cut.
sorry.
That's all right. I'm the president.
He's
President Chuck Kinnicky.
We were able to cut many things from our budget, and the ARPA funds that we're going to receive helped us out a lot, so we were able to cut it by $41,000.
So that's, you're comfortable with the number you're getting then?
Yes.
That's what I needed to know. Thank you very much. I was going to bring it back up.
Representative Chase.
Thank you. I'd like to put another motion on the floor, please.
Okay.
2,388,356. 88356.
Do you want to speak to it, or
We need a
do I have a
second.
second? Second, Representative Gardner. Do you want to speak to it?
Yeah, we haven't cut much from this budget so far, and we are almost done with it. The Mystic Noink Library is asking for 10 grand more than what they had this year, so I just brought them back down to level. Bill Memorial, they hardly get anything from us. And there's a new agency on the outside agencies, that Eastern Connecticut Conservation, that I don't think we should be adding new people at this point, since our mill rate is going to increase. And I have a question for the VNA. I ask it every year, and I don't get an answer that I just don't understand it, is why can we not bill people's insurance at the high school or at any of the schools that they see children?
Right. Hi there. The school nurses are not a billable service. It is not because we don't want to bill. It is truly because school health cannot bill people's insurance. We are not a fee for service. They are not a fee for service provider. A school health center, which is staffed by nurse practitioners who can diagnose and treat a child, they are allowed to bill. But a regular school health office, a school nurse, we are not a billable service. Home health can bill, but that is because it is specific to home health, and we are under regulatory requirements as to what we can bill and where the services have to be provided for us to bill. So unfortunately, there is no method for us to bill for a regular RN school nurse in a school health office.
She's on vacation, by the way, so.
Thank you.
Thanks for
I have one more statement to the Groton ambulance, wherever he is. Thank you so much for looking out for the taxpayers and, getting cuts to your budget that will not hurt you but will help the taxpayers. Thank you so much.
Representative Chase, I just want to confirm, your number means taking $10,000 from Mystic Noink Library and $2,000 from Eastern Connecticut Conservation District. Right. All right. Representative Gauthier.
I'd like to give the floor to the Mystic Noink Library to speak about what a $10,000 cut would do to their services.
Thank you, Representative Gauthier. What a $10,000 cut would mean is a way to find that in our utility increase. And I know the city of Groton received those utility increases, as have all of us homeowners. But we have to maintain that lovely 1893 building that we all enjoy. The board of directors pays every bit of the maintenance on that building. And we really got a tough time this year with that increase in utilities and other items in building and grounds. If we were decreased, we would have to look at really the heart of the library, which is the staff. They have not received salary increases in 2 years, and materials. We're happy to report that our print materials have held on with circulation. Our downloadable materials have skyrocketed, something that started during the pandemic. And we had almost 80,000 patrons this past year. So the library's back from COVID. We're happy to be expanding services, serving more people. But we really do need to maintain that building and be proud stewards of it. So if we don't get the increase, we'll have to look at other ways to cut back, which would really cut into the nub of our service.
Representative Cerf.
I'm new there. I'd like to remind people that the Bill Library has a very generous endowment. And so it always looks as if it's costing us less to fund them than the Mystic Noank Library. And they do a very good job with their endowment, managing everything, so it's not to reflect that. But the Mystic Noank Library is not so lucky. And it is incredibly a busy place. And during storms or heat waves or whatever, it's a refuge for people to come there. And I know we constantly want to cut it, but it's a big mistake. It's such an important library for this section of town. A lot of people don't have cars, who can't drive all the way to the Groton Library. And it just provides services for this area of town that are crucial. And as I said, it needs the extra money because it doesn't have an endowment.
Can you speak to that, Director? Do you have an endowment?
We do, actually, Representative Cerf. We do have an endowment, but we can only draw 5% every year for that. So that provides some income for us. Our income is made up of money we receive from the town of Groton, from the town of Stonington, from that 5% draw on the endowment, and from annual fundraising. So it is part of our total income. Thank you.
Hello.
But you do have a fundraiser coming up.
Representative Cerf, did you have any other questions?
I just wanted to point out, I don't think your endowment is as large as the Bill Library's, right?
I don't know what the Bill Library's endowment is, so I can't speak to
I
that.
remember going through this with them years ago. It's really substantial. I'd be willing to bet that it's much larger than
Okay.
yours.
Would Representative, or I'm sorry, what's your, okay. Representative Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Yeah, I just want to, was there a second on that amended number?
Yes, it was Representative Gardner.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm not in favor of the amended number. I think we need to continue investing in public projects like the library. It's just the right thing to do. I mean, there's so many services they provide, and it's a place of great equity and access for the public at large. So, I mean, I align a lot of my comments with Representative Cerf on the benefits of funding libraries. And, I don't know, if there's other places to cut, we should have looked at aggressively elsewhere. So, I'm in favor of the original number, and I hope we get that through tonight. Thank you.
Representative Gauthier.
Yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Representative Gardner was before you. My apologies. Representative Gardner.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. What is the Mystic Noank Library endowment?
Well, I can tell you the draw, the annual
No,
draw.
that's not what I'm asking. I'm asking what your total endowment is.
It varies, as you know, but we did, I have it here, hold on. What we drew last year. Oh, thank you. This Eric Janney is on our board of directors, and currently the endowment is I have a hard time saying it. $5,732,352.
Okay, thank you.
Like I say, we draw 5%.
Understood.
Every year.
Representative Gauthier.
If there's a representative from the Eastern Connecticut Conservation District who would like to speak to what the $2,000 cut to their budget would be, I'd like to invite them to the floor. And if not, I have one other point to make.
It was Daniel Mullins. I know he spoke at the town council meeting, and I don't see his name up there.
Okay. Two things. One, libraries are incredible assets for our community. What you're saving by cutting $10,000 is going to hurt so much more than if we cut, say, $500,000 from a golf course bunker maintenance. So I absolutely do not support that item. And $2,000 is pretty minuscule. I understand the urge to cut. I don't believe this is the place, because these are the types of agencies that are boots on the ground, really helping our community, and would have the most direct, severe impact to our residents to cut. I encourage looking for cuts elsewhere. And that is my only point.
Cheryl Munoz?
Munoz, yes.
Thank you, I'm sorry. What agency are you here from?
UCFS Healthcare.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Representative Casper.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. We have almost $150 million budget, which almost 2/3 is schools. And I believe our function is to review the budget and make sure that it's proper and fiscally sound and not have any fat or frivolous request. It is not our job to cut the budget as a matter of course. And I feel that cutting these requests by that small amount is going to be insignificant in our mill rate. And I think it's unnecessary and frivolous to cut. I cannot support that motion.
Thank you. Any other questions or concerns? Okay. Before we vote, I'm going to say to Ms. DeSantis, thank you so much for coming tonight. I know you're on vacation. I truly appreciate you being here. Okay. So the number on the floor is $2,388,356. This is the cut number. All those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand. We have Representative Adams, Representative Chase, Representative Gardner, Representative Bailey. All those opposed, please raise your hand.
Representative Frickman has arrived.
We have 30.
Thank you, Representative Frickman. Okay, if you could lower your hands. Anyone abstaining? Okay, that motion fails 4 to 26 to 0. The next number on the floor is $2,400,356. All in favor, please raise your hand. You can lower your hands. All those opposed? Representative Gardner, Representative Chase, Representative Bailey. Anyone abstaining? Representative Adams. So that motion passes 26 to 3 to 1. Representative Gothier.
I motion to recess.
Oh, are we there already?
Mhm.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are recessed until Thursday, May 18th at 7 p.m. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you to everybody who came tonight.